I took some sample photos with my Razr 2024, not the Plus version, and the Pixel 7a. My 7a is the phone I was using before I got the Razr. This first picture here, which is some impatience, the Pixel got the colors a lot more accurate. These impatiens are a dark, deep red, and the Razr is showing them as more of an orangey type color. Also the green leaves are much darker as the Pixel is properly showing, where the Razr is just showing a much lighter green color. Also, if you look in the back here, this pot, it's a little overblown, where the Pixel did a better job of not overblowing the pot with the brightness. On the Razr, and overall I find the photos are too sharp on just about every Razr pic. This is a much more natural look of these river rocks here, where the Razr is making it a little too sharp, and you'll see this in other photos later on that it's too sharp. This next photo, it's interesting. In this case, the Razr got it right. These impatiens are not that red. They are an orangey color like the Razr is showing, and the Razr did a much better job with the color accuracy. But again, as you can see with these stones, the stones are very, very detailed here, where the Razr, it's a little bit more out of focus. There's no doubt the stones are more accurately shown here. This is just going to be a matter of preference, what you prefer, a foggier look or a more sharp look on these stones. Here's an indoor shot, and overall it's similar. There's obviously some color differences. If you look at the Katina band with the Razr, the heads are more saturated. The accuracy on the Pixel 7a is definitely better. This is how the colors actually look on the Katina band. If you look at this yellow M&M versus the Razr, the yellow is again oversaturated on the Razr, and the Pixel 7a is doing a better job of the color accuracy. And you can also see the dust on his helmet is more prevalent on the Razr shot, because it's, in my opinion, making the photos just too sharp. Here's a outdoor type shot. It's a screened-in porch where there was definitely some shading going on. And again, the Pixel A got the colors correct on this yellow pot. This yellow is a lot more accurate to what the pot looks like versus this one here. But otherwise, I mean, it's a very similar photo in both cases. The cacti look about the same. Everything else looks about the same. I don't see a huge difference in this photo. Now here's an outdoor shot where I can show you the grass. This is what I don't like. I don't like the way the Razr represents any photo I took involving grass. It's just too sharp looking. It just doesn't look real. To me, this looks more real, this grass over here. Also, I've noticed that the Razr overall has a problem with sky colors. Here you can see this is not blue. It has some sort of a purple tint to it, especially lower down here near the roof of that house and along the edge of the trees here. That purplish tint is not right, where the Pixel 7a definitely has the blue sky much better shown with color accuracy. Overall, you can see from the trees here, the Razr again is making the photos too sharp. That's just too much sharpness being applied to the photos. Another outdoor shot, and here again the skies are completely different between the Pixel and the Razr, and the sky on the Pixel is definitely more accurate. As far as the greenery goes here, it's about the same photo. I don't see a big difference. Again, it's a little bit more sharp on the Razr, but otherwise the color accuracy is pretty good. Now this one, the Razr blew it. This plant on the Pixel 7a is exactly as you would see it. It's a beautiful set of reds, and this is an interesting plant with all these different colors of reds. The Razr completely messed this up. This is not how this looks. It has a washed out look to it. And I took this shot a couple different times because I wasn't sure maybe if I just did something weird when I took the photo. It didn't matter. The Razr just did not accurately display the colors on this particular plant. Here, I believe the Razr did a better job of color accuracy. This is where it's kind of weird how it flips back and forth on what's doing a better, color picture. The Pixel 7a, it's not this deep of a red. It's definitely a lighter tone, and the Razr got this photo a lot better. Here's another good example. This is a really good example of where the Razr messes up the lawn. It just doesn't look that grainy or sharp. It's just not the way it looks. The Pixel 7a, this is how the lawn looks, and it's a lot more accurate. Now, as far as the sky goes, again, you can see here along the tree line of the sky, it's got that purplish tone to it. It's a lot more subtle in this photo, but you can see it. I don't know what that's about. And over here, it's a lot more hazy looking, where the Pixel is, in my opinion, has the sky much more accurately shown here. The flowers are about the same. You can see this this orange set of flowers and then the red. They're about the same in both photos as far as the color goes. Otherwise, it's mostly the sky and this over sharpness on this Razr with the grass that I've got a problem with. Here's an indoor shot. Not a lot of lighting in this room, and it's pretty accurate on both photos. I don't see a huge difference between these two shots. There's a lot of nice colors here to compare things, and yeah, there's a subtle difference between the blues, but not anything that I can tell. I wouldn't be able to tell you which one's more accurate. I'd have to go into the room and stare at these photos and figure out which one is more accurate, because I really think they're about the same. Now, here is a really bad example of where the Razr completely blew it. The vinyl siding is just wrong. The Pixel is showing exactly the color of the vinyl siding, where the Razr just completely changed the color of the siding, which I don't understand. The clock is also wrong. The clock colors are just not as accurately displayed as they are in the Pixel. Now, in this particular photo, there was a lot of light. The sun was really bright, shining in this direction. And I honestly think the Razr did a better job of showing how bright it was. The Pixel, I like the photo of the Pixel better. I think it's a more natural look. But honestly, it was so bright out, I think this gives me a better idea of what I was actually seeing. And the interesting thing is, if you look at the fence on the Pixel is not as well in focus as it is on the Razr here. And I think that's because of the sharpness detail that the Razr is adding to all these photos. It just makes things look more in focus. But in a lot of cases, it just goes too far. Now, as far as the way the fence looks, there's no doubt the fence looks a lot more accurate in this Razr pic. Here's some drift roses. Again, this is the same area that was super sunny at the time. And I think the Razr did a better job of showing how bright it was versus the Pixel seemed to tone down the brightness a bit. Overall, I think these two pics are about the same. Obviously, the Razr is a bit brighter, but I don't think you'd really know the difference from just looking at these photos, which one is better. Now, this photo, I wanted to show the actual EXIF data because this was a dark room. And I was really surprised how both cameras chose different settings. You can see the ISO on the Razr was very high versus the ISO on the Pixel. There's a huge difference in the ISO settings, and because of that, the shutter speed is different. Obviously the wall shows a little bit more grain because of the higher ISO. The colors are pretty much, on the money. I mean, there's no problem with the colors on either photo. The Razr is slightly darker, but in this case, I can't find anything wrong with either photo, except that obviously the Pixel's a little bit less grainy. But honestly, the room wasn't this bright, so the Pixel is messing up the background here. This room was dark. So I really, in some ways, feel the Razr did a better job of accurately showing the color depth here. And that's it. Those are the sample photos I tried with both cameras. So summing it up, I mean, you'll have to make your own decision if you think the Razr camera is okay for what you use it for. If you're a person like myself, I don't really take photos with my mobile camera that I'm going to keep for very long. I tend to take pictures of stuff that I'm going to take to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever, and I say, look, I got a plumbing problem. This is what I've got, and I got to find something that'll fit there. I'm not taking family portrait photos with my mobile camera. I use a Sony mirrorless camera for taking photos that I'm going to keep long term or print. But again, everybody's going to be different on what they use for their camera, and you'll have to decide, if you think the Razr is good enough for what you're going to use it for. I created a Facebook group if you want to continue discussions about the Moto Razr. It doesn't have to be just photography related. It could be anything about the Moto Razr flip phones. So the group is facebook.com/groups/Moto Razr.